Hello everyone. In this video, I'll try to explain you about how to use a model mapper in Spring Boot. So, model mapper used to map the DTO to entity class. So, in enterprise applications, there can be thousands of fields what we are receiving in the DTO, and to map that to an entity with all the setters, it's an inefficient way. So, to efficiently map all the thousand fields or any number of fields from DTO to entity, we can make use of this model mapper. So this is the dependency. I'll show you how to map the DTO to entity, and other dependencies is Spring Data JPA and the Starter Web, OJDBC driver for Oracle database, and Lombok, and the testing. So this is the pom.xml, and I already created a entity class. So this is the employee entity. So this is the Lombok connotations for getter setters and argument constructors and argument constructor. So to define this as an entity, we have used at entity annotation, and the at table annotation is not a mandatory. So if you want to map the table in a database with the customized name, then we can go with this. And the ID is a primary key and to represent it as a primary key, we should use at the rate ID. And the primary key generation strategy is auto given is a column names. So this is the entity class and the DTO. So I've taken only name, date of joining, and address. In the service layer, so I only auto-wired this repository. So this repository extends a JPA repository. So this is the entity class and the primary key. So I've set up the project like this, and there is a controller annotated with REST controller and mapping. So now we'll try to use a model mapper to map the DTO to entity. So here I'll be creating a class. I'll be creating a method to create a employee. So this will be returning a DTO object, create save employee. Will be getting DTO. So to configure this model mapper, we should be creating a bean here. We will be returning a model mapper. Return a model mapper. Be returning and share it as a bean here. So I'll make use of this bean. Auto wiring. So employee DT mapper dot map employee DTO to employee dot class. So this will give us an employee. We can return this for dot map So right now I'm mapping from entity to CTO. So this is how we can map. Next one is to get all the employees. We'll be getting a list of employee DTO. We'll be get all employees. We're getting a list of employee list. And this one is employee report dot save. Find all will give us a list of employees. So we'll iterate this string map the employee object mapper dot map emp to employee dot dto class to list. So we'll be returning all the employees the dto class. So this is done. Now we'll try to create a controller. The response entity employee will take a request body employee dto. I'll order a wire with employee service. We'll be getting a response employee dto here. Employee service dot save employee passing the dto. I'll return this in a response entity. HTTP status got created. The body will be dto object. This will be post mapping. Path will be employee save. I'll create one get mapping. The response entity get all employees. Returning a list. Employee dto list. Service dot get all employees. Returning the response entity status. Okay, the body will be employee dto list. This will be get mapping. The path will be yes employees. Oh, this is done. Now we'll see how the model mapper works. So I'll start the application. So you can see the database configuration. So this is the URL, username, the password. So you can give your DB credentials here. and dialect I select Oracle 10G dialect and the DDL auto to create a database table. At the time application is started, so you can see the queries is firing here. So it is dropping the table, employee table, dropping the sequence and creating the new sequence, new table. So right now application started. We'll try to pass the data. So we save employee, date of joining. I'll give today's date and address. Bangalore I given. Now I'll try to save it. So it got saved and we are getting the response here. I can see employee ID 1, address, date of joining, and the name. We're getting. Now I'll save one more object. Date of joining 21 02 05 Bangalore. This is also getting saved. So two updates got created. Now I'll try to get all the data. The employees. See here, we are getting the name. So the use of model mapper is we are not getting ID here. So in entity we are getting name, date of joining, address. Suppose there may be a password also in a employee entity, but in order to remove the password, we can make use of this DTO and map only the required fields, the response, so that the user can't see all those uh, details. So right now, this is how the model mapper is working. So it will map the DTO to entity. Now we'll see if there is the list of address here. So in employee DTO, in employee, right now we have only the main fields here. Suppose there is a one to many mapping of address here. So here there is a list of address. It will be like address list. I'll try to create an object. I'll try to create a class of address in the model package. Will be having the data, all arguments constructor, arguments constructor, entity, string, address, city, So the primary key will be direct ID, generated value, strategy, and select auto. I'll import this list. It will be one to many mapping. So one employee can have many address, and the join column will be employee ID. We'll see if an employee object contains a list of address, whether the model mapper will be able to map to address list. So there should be one more DTO here. This DTO which contains the fields. And then pick up the data, all are constructor and no is constructor. This will contain a list. I'll import this list here. And that's it. We in this service class we need to save the address first and then set it into a employee. So we should do here is I should create a repository for address also. Should be address repository. Is an interface that extends maybe a repository. The table is address. Primary key is long type. Will auto wire this address repo. We'll save all the list what we are getting from this address list. We are mapping here employee DTO to employee, and we'll be first we should save this address, all the address what we are getting. So it will be then we should set this address list in the employee entity, and then we are saving here. So these are one to many mapping works. The one this is a unidirectional one. So I'll start the application. So it's trying to drop the table address, but I guess it's not there in the DB. I'll give this. Stop this section B and press BBL. I'm restarting the application because I'm giving this existing table a name here, so that it will be dropping the table because DDL auto have given us create. So when we give it as a create, it will try to drop all the tables and try to create the new table. So that time when it is trying to drop and if it doesn't find those tables, so we are getting those exceptions. So right now it's has dropped the table address table and the employee table and all the sequence, and it has created a two address table and employee table. Now we'll save the data. So DTO contains the DTO list. So we should pass here the list. The address city statement code. While giving address Bangalore, we also have Bangalore, Karnataka, 862 106. So I'll be giving this data and we'll see whether the model mapper is able to map all this data. So we are getting null here. The DB will see two it has created that was table. It has created address city and employee ID 2. But in the response we are getting null here. Find all. One more thing, what we should do is mapping strategy here. Configuration for set mapping strategy. So to set mapping strategies, lose. Now it will set all these values. So we'll restart the application. And we'll see in a DB. Right now it is empty. I'll try to save the same data. If you see here, right now we are getting the data. Employee table, employee D2, date of joining here getting populated. That was also it's there. So if we have set here the mapping strategy, so it is we have set the mapping strategy as a loser, so that the model mapper is able to map this list of data to the dependent class. So earlier it was unable to map the data what we are getting with employee detail name, date of joining, address list. So it doesn't know how to map that address, city, state, pin code to this list of address detail. After setting this mapping strategy to lose, right, we are getting the data. Now we'll try to make a get request. So the data getting populated, and the ID, because of the mapping from entity to DTO, we are not getting the ID. So this is how we can use a model mapper in enterprise applications to map. Uh, there may be like hundreds, thousands of uh, variables, the DTO, and if you want to map to an entity with setters or initializing with constructor, it's very tedious work. With the help of model mapper, we can easily map the DTO to entity and entity to DTO. So it's very helpful. And there is one more map strut. So I'll try to make a video on map strut also, so that we can map from DTO to entity using a map strut also. So if you like this video, please click a like button, subscribe to my channel, as well as press the bell button so that you won't miss any of my videos. Thank you.